What's up, folks?
It's your boys,
Drake and
Philip.
And we are here for another episode of
Here's Looking at You,
kid.
Oh boy, are we screaming into that mic. Phil, we have a new mic. We talked about this last time, and we've never used this setting before, but it looks like it is very sensitive.
What? We used this mic last time.
We used this mic last time, but not this setting on the mic last time, so see how the levels are going crazy.
Yeah.
So if you're listening to this with headphones,
you're welcome.
play it on speaker.
Yeah, I mean that's not the only historic thing about this episode.
That's right, baby. It's our first show with a guest. Introduce our guest, Phil.
All right. Our guest is here, well, because the film we'll be watching and not listening to,
of course,
today is Anastasia.
The 1956 film starring Yul Brynner.
Film starring Yul Brynner, which if you want, well, we'll get to that in a bit. But we have an expert here with us, and we'd like to welcome our first ever guest to the podcast, Kerry. Everyone say hi to Kerry.
Hi, Kerry.
Hi.
Kerry is my roommate and my girlfriend.
You've been waiting a long time to make that joke.
Yeah.
It's a good original joke.
Thank you.
Yep.
And something she's very passionate about is people being wrong about the Romanovs' history. So we invited her here for this episode where I don't know how we'll know if they're wrong or not because we won't be listening.
No, we won't.
Why did you say yes to this?
Because it seemed like a really good idea like 4 months ago.
Yes, before we actually started this podcast.
And I kind of thought you'd run out of steam.
Nope, we're still going.
Yep, and now, another original comedy thing. This is a bad idea that you're about to do. So, we are here. We are watching Anastasia. If you want to watch along, which I know many of our listeners do, we are specifically watching the copy of it uploaded to youtube.com entitled Anastasia 1956 by the channel Graphic Delight. We believe the audio for this is in Italian, but that does not matter because we will have it off.
Yes, my TV is muted.
Yes.
As I assume yours is.
Yeah, because they want to listen to us.
And you know what? This movie is an hour and 45 minutes, which is maybe the shortest one we've done, or second shortest. But let's get right into it because...
Let's get right into it. And, yeah, well, let's do it.
All right, count us
So we're
down.
at true zero.
Yes, true zero on the video.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. All right.
So now, Kerry, what's your history with Yul Brynner?
There is none.
So you've never heard Yul Brynner before?
I've never heard Yul Brynner before.
Have you ever looked at Yul Brynner before?
I have looked at Yul Brynner before.
Okay.
You're a perfect
so
guest.
this podcast is for you.
Great.
And obviously you've listened to every episode of the podcast.
Only because I hear them being recorded.
Right, because we record in my living room and Kerry's usually 2 rooms away.
That is true.
Trying
This
to
movie stars
hide.
Ingrid Bergman. And
Hey,
Yul Brynner's in it!
There's our boy.
Looking at Yul's name.
Oh, Helen Hayes, now a theater.
Is the Hayes
Not
Code...
anymore, is it?
It is.
Oh, right, no, you're right.
Yeah. It's now the...
Yes.
It's now the Hayes Theater, technically, with theater ER instead of RE, but that's... No one cares.
No,
What were you saying about that?
Oh, I was just wondering if Helen Hayes is in any way related to whoever started the Hayes Code.
I don't think the Hayes Code has an E in it.
Oh, that's correct.
Correct.
I know.
Maybe they changed
Alfred
it to
Newman,
distance themselves.
No, I think they're pretty unrelated.
Okay.
All right.
I like the background of these credits. One, the credits are in blood red, and then they're over. Is that the coat of arms of the Romanov family?
Yes.
Like a silhouette of them against a stone wall. It looks very
deluxe for
ominous.
this color.
It looks very
I mean,
ominous.
it looks like a cement basement.
Carrie, talk us through what some of the more common mistakes about the Romanovs, and specifically Anastasia, is. Now, as we all know, I've never seen this movie, but I have seen...
Oh, well, here's some text.
Well, I can look at this, but who cares, right? We're not reading in this podcast.
I mean, this is all accurate text. So, it's crawling.
It's crawling. This
The
is what
first
Star Wars is
paragraph
based on.
True.
Yeah. George Lucas is a huge Yul fan. In fact, George Lucas, if you call into this podcast, we'll let you talk.
Now, it says that the Tsar's wife and children were caught and shot. But now...
That's a strong word.
But now they're saying, oh, wait, not so fast. Maybe one of them wasn't shot.
No, she did.
Now, we all know that Anastasia escaped. She lost her memory, and then she fought an evil wizard who sought to, along with a little bat sidekick, drag her to hell so he could gain ultimate power over Russia.
Did you even watch that movie before we watched it on Zoom? Had you ever seen it before?
I had. So one of my earliest dates with Kerry was we watched the animated Anastasia over Zoom because there was a global pandemic and no vaccines.
And we were bored.
So I have never watched that Anastasia.
Oh. I'm sorry, it's Russian Easter, by the way.
It's full of falsehoods, but it rules.
The only version of this story I have experienced is Anastasia the Musical, starring Gleb. So,
well, Anastasia the Musical is mostly a combination of this and the animated movie plot-wise. So,
yes,
we'll put the pieces together for you a little bit.
So is Gleb from this?
He might be. I've never seen this.
Do we know who Yul plays? Does Yul play Gleb?
Maybe Yul plays Gleb.
Maybe Yul plays Gleb. I mean, we might still not know.
Yeah.
Since
we're not going to hear his name or see it subtitled or any other form of...
Yul did have second billing, so I kind of assume he plays... Is the character named Dimitri in the cartoon?
Mm.
Yeah, but...
And that's like John
so maybe
Cusack
that
or something?
Be, yeah.
Maybe that's...
Right, because...
But Derek Klena has good hair. Yul Brynner has no hair.
I mean, now this movie is about a woman who pretended to be Anastasia, and I believe the men who present her to the Empress. It's very similar to the animated movie. Mm-hmm. So maybe he's one of them and not Gleb. Because Gleb also had pretty good hair.
But now we have to consider that maybe the version of having good hair in the 1950s
very different.
Was having no hair. Because, like, there weren't good shampoos yet.
True.
Everyone knows that conditioner was invented in the 1970s. So...
Had to get rid of the lice somehow?
The only way to have good hair back then, you just had to shave it all off.
Yeah. Am I correct that there was a thing a few years back that, like, Anastasia or someone was, like, found buried in a parking lot?
You think of King Richard III?
Am I?
He was found in a parking lot.
Okay.
I don't know if he was found. I think it was... always just known that was the burial spot, and there was just a parking lot there.
Oh, so did they actually dig it up?
I don't remember.
Did we? No. Oh, I was with a friend of the podcast, possibly the guest next month, Taylor Mainberg. I said his full name.
Friend who's never called in.
Friend who's never called in. Who does listen up until we say his name.
Yeah, so goodbye, Taylor.
So you chased him away real early.
We went to see... Oh, there's you very early.
Very, particularly shiny head.
Yes. Is he wearing... Is that a flute or a sword?
That's a sword.
Okay, so he's some sort of military. Do we think... Are we already past, like, has the Tsar already been killed?
This is 1928 Paris, according to the text that was on the screen earlier. So they've been dead for like 10 years.
So maybe he is going to be like an agent of her grandmother who goes to try to look for her. Maybe. Folks, we all love Anastasia, as we know she's alive and well today. This movie, of course, is a fiction.
It's been 105 years.
She's very old.
Oh, speaking of which, I guess I should do a theme song.
Oh, yeah. This was all the code open. Phil, hit us with the theme song.
Yeah.
And make sure to include that we have a special guest this month. Yeah, there's a theme song.
Yeah, it's the same every time.
Totally the same. Exactly the same. We might as well just record it and edit it in, but we don't edit.
Yeah, no editing. Alright. Wow, I can't believe I said that. Alright, here we go. Time to watch for Yule, but we're not gonna listen 'cause we just want to see you. And we've got a guest, so it's time to glisten us like Yule's head. This will he's looking at Yule Kid.
Oh, what a beautiful song.
I had to change the melody for copyright reasons, you know?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you ever heard that song from the other room when you've listened in the past?
I try to forget what I've heard from the other room that I've listened in the past.
Now, I know for a fact that often you fall asleep while we're recording this podcast.
That's true.
Which means that this podcast is so inviting and comforting that people feel safe when the sound is on in the background, and it sends you right off to sleep. Because I happen to know that one of our most loyal listeners... Oh, Phil's just holding an empty glass of water above his head.
This glass has the text "Our Place" on the bottom of it.
Yes, that's called a brand name.
Yes.
But I like it faces
Hashtag
inwards.
non-spawn.
It faces.
They
you
make
see
great
it in the
pans
glass
as well.
So good job.
Thank you.
They should sponsor us, but they're
Our
not
Place?
yet. They're not yet. Our pod, more like.
Our Place, call in and give us money.
Anyway, our loyal listener, David from Queens, often listens to this podcast as he goes to sleep as well, and I'm sure we have. Well, it's been a while since we've
Speaking
checked
of
in on him, so
loyal
I
listeners-
imagine we might have as many as 6 or even 7 voicemails from him.
Maybe. Let's see. Yeah. I mean, well, from anyone. We don't know. We never know who the voicemail are from until we hear them.
That's right.
So
We don't vet. Is there gonna be people yelling at us? Maybe. We don't vet.
that would be fun.
That would be funny. Now my dad's gonna call and yell at us for you, and you're never gonna hear it because it's gonna be in next month's episode. She's smiling. Oh look, I think this is Anastasia on screen. Once again, very nice background. These movies we've watched for this podcast all have very beautiful backgrounds
When
and
was our last
sets.
episode released?
It's the
Our
first
last episode was
sets.
released like a week or two ago, but oh man, I don't know. Check Spotify.
Okay.
Check
This is
YouTube.
meta.
If you keep talking, I'll go.
So, yeah. Ba-ba-ba.
The Ten Commandments Part 2 went up on February 16th.
February 24th of the 3rd. Oh wait, no.
February
I
24th
guess
is the 3rd, and then there's the intermission.
that's when
on
the last
the
one
20th.
we recorded. Which would have been the 16th, yes? Alright, anyway. Oh boy. Yep, that tracks. Okay, so...
Now wait, do we want to listen to the voicemails this early in the show? We'd be done with them so quickly. Well, what you doing there, Phil? You counting? That's a lot.
Well,
of
so you
voicemails.
say...
Yeah.
You said we might have as many as 6 or 7.
Yeah, it could be 6 or 7 even.
Could
We've
be.
had 3 episodes released since we last checked.
We have. It could be as many as 27.
Oh, so someone other than my dad must have called in.
Oh, surely.
Sounds
That-
like you could definitely start them now and
Yeah.
probably not even get through them all.
Yeah, a lot of them are very short.
Do you know what I will say? Well, we can listen to them if we want to, but we have 2 more episodes coming up this month. We have, of course, the St. Patrick's Day special, which
Oh, God,
presumably
yeah.
one of these calls will tell us what the topic should be. And then also, our good friend, he's not here today, unfortunately, but our good friend of the show,
Thingy?
who? That person's never been on
Sorry, I
the show
had something I
before.
thought.
Yeah, a gazoon type. Orphan of the Rocks, I hear, as an episode. Do you know Orphan of the Rocks, Kerry? He stayed with us for a while. I don't know if you noticed.
I'm not answering this question. This feels like a trap.
It
Phil,
is.
what was your take on Orphan of the Rocks?
I think I tuned out of Orphan of the Rocks pretty early on, and then was like, oh, he's still going with this.
Maybe this is Dimitri.
A thing about my roommate is he like spits way too much, and if you tolerate it, they just keep on coming.
Are you talking about our new roommate, Orphan of the Rocks?
No, I'm talking about you, my only roommate
Oh.
and boyfriend. But
So
you
let's
hated dead air.
some voicemails.
Oh, yeah, you shall not have dead air is one of the rules of our podcast.
I've heard.
We break it a lot.
I know.
Yeah. There was one point last week where Phil zoomed out and I was watching the movie, and then we realized, it's been a couple minutes and someone said something.
And this is how they lull you to sleep.
That's right. Can this be
Is this the
categorized as
penguin?
ASMR? Yeah, this is the penguin.
Okay. It's a cool room.
Oh, here's Yul again. Yul's got a cool hat.
Yeah, but you had to take it off to show.
Yeah.
Still shiny.
Yeah, it's still shiny.
You know that song Shiny Happy People?
Nope.
By George Ezra. I've now deemed it's about Yule.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, do you know the Disney movie Tarzan?
I'm familiar with it. I also don't believe I've seen it, but I've seen Tarzan the musical.
Okay, well then you'll have heard their song in that was inspired by Yul Brynner. Do you know? This is true. Phil Collins, huge fan of Yul. Mm-hmm. So when he wrote the music to Tarzan, he put in a song called You'll Be in My Heart.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I thought you were going to say Trash in the Camp.
Kerry's looking at me.
So
There's
we
such
did
a disappointed look on her face. Oh, maybe I won't have a girlfriend.
I was going to say, we'll see at the end of the episode, it's still one roommate and girlfriend. Alright. Yeah, let's start off, because I believe it's also the longest one of these 27 voicemails.
Alright, well, hold on. You gotta sing us the Checking the Calls jingle.
Everybody know that we're having a ball. We're gonna go and check the calls. We got lots of messages. Who were they from? Who knows? But I'm sure they're not dumb. Cause every voicemail we get is a treasure. Every voicemail we get is great. So now we're gonna listen to them at our leisure. And let's start. We don't have to wait. Hey, that one actually rhymed.
Yeah, that was it. That was
all right.
That was maybe the best one.
Yeah. All right. Also, pretty quiet, so no one will hear it. All right, here we go. This is the first. So this is from February 17th. So a day after Ten Commandments Part 2 was released. Mm-hmm. At 11:39 p.m. And
you often play them on silent at first, as if...
it's your Yule kid.
There we go.
Okay.
Hey, it's your Yule kid, Roger.
There's a lot of
real
words
quick, I'm watching the Ten Commandments Part 1, Part 2. Listening to, I should say. And yeah, you know who I am. And, so as far as I understand it, I believe, Phil, you're correct. It's not written by God, talking about the Bible.
Oh, my dad did say he was going to call
it. It's not written by God. It's the Word of God, meaning that he spoke to humans, and then they wrote it down, or humans were divinely inspired to write things. You know, they don't even know why they're writing it. It just came out of them, inspired by God. But no, did God sit down with a quill?
What this podcast
no
is.
pen, no laptop? I don't think so.
From God's lips
Possibly
to Yul's ears.
He's writing the simulation, but that's a whole different topic for a different podcast.
My father thinks we're living in a
then.
simulation.
I'm sure I'll call back.
Is that it?
No, it's not dead air. This is still... Alright, now that's it.
Sounds like things.
So some things to break down there. One, somehow it was decided that our fans are called Jolly Rogers.
I think just
Rogers. Or just Rogers, and my dad is particularly jolly. I don't quite remember. I think that originates in the first episode when we were trying to bully our friends into calling.
Yeah, I think we forgot the origin of that as soon as he first called in.
The thing is, none of our friends that we bullied called in. Because nobody
listens to
this show. But, and then, we were a little confused about some of the religious aspects of the Ten Commandments. So I would imagine that, you said there are 27 of these?
Yeah.
I'm going to imagine the first 14 of those are my father trying to teach us about religion.
Well, there's only one more from that night. Oh, well, no, that's not...
Well, that means that there would be 25 from part 3.
No, it's because midnight happened, so I
see.
Because he said, I'm sure I'll call back, and call back he did,
now,
14
Phil,
minutes later.
Never mind, I won't bring it up. Let's continue with the voicemails.
Yet again, it's your jolly Yule kid, Roger. Drake. I don't know how much you spent on that microphone, but it's really good.
Hey.
And when you guys get, loud, it's loud. I have never before had to turn my speaker down.
You're probably doing it right now.
I guess money well spent?
Mm-hmm.
Congrats.
Someday I'll learn how to adjust it.
Now wait.
I'm obsessed with your show,
Phil
and Drake. I'm your jolly Yule kid, Roger.
There you go.
And, I don't know, I guess I'm bored. I'm listening to the Ten Commandments Part 1, Part 2. Still. Okay, I'm sure that there were other things I wanted to say, and I can't remember, so I'm going to hang up, because probably don't want to hear me. Yeah, I should have hung up. I don't know. Maybe before I called. Is that possible? Some time paradox. I don't know.
So the thing is, my father recently told me that he doesn't care if we're making fun of him when we listen to these calls.
I would say we are.
But no, I would say, in fact, that it gives us something to fill the time with. So yeah, good to know the microphone sounds good, because I haven't listened back to any of those episodes. But yeah, the levels are crazy, even from all the way over here. And when you were holding the phone with the messages right up to the mic, so I bet those were really loud.
Yeah. Well, we always say our viewers, and by viewers I mean listeners, are the most important part of the podcast, so they should be the loudest. You know?
Well, I do know he watches on YouTube, so kind of... YouTube.
Thank you, yeah.
Which is the name of our YouTube channel. Now, Kerry, so far, how historically accurate does this movie look? Here's three guys and presumably Anastasia sitting in a warehouse.
I mean, she's long dead by now, so we're just in ahistorical waters, pretty much off the top.
Or maybe this is not Anastasia, and these are people talking about Anastasia.
If they're gonna make her pretend to be Anastasia, then we're in the clear.
Well, what's your
Unfortunately, I can't hear anything.
Now, you are a fan of the animated movie.
Yes.
Which I assume is the first way you found out about.
No.
You knew who Anastasia was before the movie.
Yes. Do you remember those, like, they were, like, these little, like, books written in the style of, like, diaries of, like, historical figures and young women and that kind of thing? I read one of those when I was pretty young.
It said, I am Anastasia. I was brutally murdered by...
I think they left out the brutally murdered part. I think they stuck with the, stuck with my family, like, nursed soldiers,
now
kept their spirits up kind of thing.
Bummer alert. Anastasia was very young when she was murdered, right?
Around 16, I think.
Okay, older than I thought.
Yeah.
She had younger siblings.
Alexi was the youngest. She was the youngest daughter, and then the heir was the last born.
Mm-hmm. So... Wait, I was going to ask a question now, I've forgotten. Oh,
no.
So...
Is that the Babadook?
Yeah, that's the Babadook.
Okay.
This is actually a prequel. This is also keep an eye out, because this is part of the Dumptyverse. You'll see
okay.
An Easter egg at some point. But so in the animated Anastasia, what's your take on whether or not she actually is Anastasia or not? Because they leave. I think she is. She doesn't think she's Anastasia. She is Anastasia. And even the guy is like, oh well, we could pretend she's Anastasia and make a fortune.
She's pretty canonically Anastasia in that one, because she remembers remember in the like prologue of the movie, she goes out through a secret passage. She remembers that episode, and she has the necklace.
Now, couldn't it be possible that like someone who worked at the castle knew about that and
stole the necklace?
Yeah,
I guess.
People be looting when there's executing happen.
People be looting and
I
forget the rest of that.
So like, if this is the case here, where this is just when she's like, I'm not Anastasia, and they're like, oh, but look, she's got 5 fingers, she must be Anastasia.
Yeah, it looks like they're doing, I forget what it's called, but when you study the skull, that looks like what they're doing now. That pseudoscience.
Oh, is that supposed to be the shape of the skull means
it means phrenology, isn't that what it is?
I'm unfamiliar with it.
Oh,
they should do it to Yul, though.
They would just come away with he round.
It'd be really easy.
Yeah.
I think Yul is Dimitri.
I think you're right.
I mean, we'll never know, but...
From Dimitri to Dimitri. Do you think if he were alive today, and there were a biopic made about the musician Chris Daughtry, you would play him?
Yeah, I do.
Cool.
I also think Yul Brynner would be a great, and this will mean nothing to Phil, I imagine. Wait, have you seen any of the Batman movies?
No.
Okay, and you have not either.
Well, I've seen the Christopher Nolan one.
Oh, okay. So then, wow, shockingly, you'll know more about this than Kerry. Did not think so. But there's a character named Ra's al Ghul Liam Neeson plays him for some reason.
I don't remember this.
All right.
Is he in the first one? That's the one
he's in the first
remember
one.
least.
Okay.
Marion Cotilliard's dad?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I remember the Scarecrow, the Irish guy.
Cillian Murphy.
Yeah.
Who was in the movie version of Disco Pigs, which I think we talked about
yes.
a few episodes. But I think Yul Brynner would have been a good Rachel Gould.
Rachel Gould?
Not Rachel Gould.
Okay.
Phil, did you bring a topic this month?
Well, before we get to a topic, let's listen to another voicemail.
All right.
So here's one from 6 minutes later.
Oh, okay.
It's your jolly Yule Kid Roger again. You know, I'm still watching, listening. Earlier in the podcast, Drake, you said to space out the voicemails because so you have enough for all the episodes.
Yeah, we got
I don't think you got to worry about that.
Yep.
I didn't think I had to say that, but maybe. Anyway, keep it up. I'm addicted.
A lot of listeners to shows call in or write in with questions for the hosts.
Mm-hmm.
This is maybe the only show where we just play literally anything that gets sent in, and sometimes it's, yeah, I'm still listening to the same episode. I like it.
Yeah. We kind of have, like the trope of first-time caller, long-time listener. I think we have short-time listeners because there haven't been that many long-time caller.
Right. Yeah, what is this, the 5th episode? 4th episode?
Something like that.
We've done Port of New York, King and I, 10 Commandments.
10 Commandments.
And now this. So this is our 4th movie we're covering.
This guy with glasses reminds me of someone. I'm trying to figure out
The glasses remind you of a person?
No, the guy with glasses.
Oh, I see.
I don't know. You stand out of anyone to you?
Not to me. You?
No.
Oh, boy.
I do have to say, I do think... I think the show might be getting worse the longer it runs. The podcast as a whole, not this episode.
Well, sure, because it's very much a thing that's born of a title first, funny...
Concept later.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not a concept that is meant to hold water in any way,
Well, I guess if we actually watched these movies and had something to say about them, but
we don't, and and it's hard to
them,
because of the entire concept of not hearing them.
Correct.
You could put the subtitles on.
No, we can't.
You'd still be looking.
We'd be looking, but we'd be looking
at words.
It'd be like listening, Now,
we have discussed that this specific YouTube video is in Italian.
Yeah, we could be listening to this.
So, we could be.
But if I were to unmute it now, the way our microphone is set up, it would capture.
Oh, yes. No. I don't think it's a good idea.
We could check in for a couple seconds. Shall we?
Shall we?
You've got the remote.
Well, wait. Hold on. Before you do.
Uh-huh.
Just in case, Just in case it's not in Italian, wait until Yul's not on screen.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I want to hear what the
Kerry's
Italian
never going to
Yule
speak to
voice.
either of us after this.
I want to know what the Italian Yule voice was.
Well, if we determine that it is in Italian, then I think
we
we'd be safe to later on.
Okay.
Checking in on Italian. That's my theme song for checking in on Italian that I've just created.
Oh, okay. My dad's Italian, so that works for that too.
I hope you'll have something to say about that. David, if you want to call in and speak in Italian...
He doesn't... he can try. He doesn't speak Italian.
Listen, it's been many years since I've understood it, so it'd be a good match. Alright. Well, speaking of David, here's
another call. Okay.
Here's one from 7 minutes after the last one.
Okay.
Hold on, here we go. Oh, I didn't press play. That's not bad.
There's a lot of dead air just in the way
You're jolly you kid, Roger, yet again. So I did a quick check, and it would have been interesting if Yul had indeed died at Mount Sinai, but he did not. He died at New York Hospital. I had never heard of it before, and I didn't look further into it, but I checked several sources, and they all said New York Hospital. In October of 1985. I can't remember the day.
October 10th.
Okay.
All right. So I appreciate the fact checking here. I will say this though. So I believe this is referencing I'm sure we were talking about the fact that we were going to do an episode from go visit Mount Sinai.
Right, because the Ten Commandments has Mount Sinai.
And it's where Yul died. And the thing is, that is correct. Yul died at New York Hospital, but New York Hospital is now, like, that location is now a Mount Sinai Hospital.
Oh, okay. And it's on 69th Street.
It is, nice. Yes. So thank you. That is accurate. I appreciate you for keeping us honest.
Kerry, I'm sorry we didn't invite you to the podcast taping we were doing at 69th Street on the block that Yul died on.
I mean...
I think I'm okay with that.
It's also not too late.
Yeah, do you want
it's
some
too
back?
late.
Okay.
Okay.
The plan is made.
You're not going to come back regularly after this? You're firmly a one-time guest. You're not going to join the regular rotating crew of guests?
You could do the live episode.
You could do the live episode.
Do I want to ask what the live episode is?
Well, we're not totally sure it's going to happen, but we've discussed doing a live episode on the day of Yul's birth.
I have other plans that day.
Well, it's the Tonys.
That's why I have other plans that day.
But if we all go to the Tonys together, we can walk uptown and record an episode as we go.
And we can record it in
the commercial breaks.
United Palace Hall is what I was going to say.
Yeah.
That's what it's called, right? United Palace?
Did you have a Tony?
Yeah.
Yeah, see? So it will be relevant.
This is my go-to method, and it's really not great for being on a podcast, is it?
Just staring at me silently. Yeah.
Oh, wait. Sorry. This is an interesting follow-up from 2 minutes later. This was only 10 seconds long.
Okay.
You're jolly you kid Roger. Your grandfather did not die at Mount Sinai. He died in Lenox Hill Hospital.
Now, Phil, I'm not sure if he's talking about my grandfather or your grandfather. Or maybe Kerry's grandfather.
I'm confident he's not talking about my grandfather.
That might be correct about my grandfather.
That he died at Mount Sinai?
No, at Lenox Hill.
Oh. Well, there you go.
But I imagine he'd be talking about yours.
Why would you think that?
Well, I don't think it had been said that David from Queens is your father.
That is true, but... Now, I wonder... No, I think he died at Long Island Jewish, but I'm not sure. My other grandfather, I was wondering.
That was supposed to be my follow-up, is which grandfather was he referring to?
He was referring to his own father, but David from Queens, if you want to call in and tell me where my mother's father died, let me know. That way I don't have to call her and be like, hey, we were recording a podcast and talking about your dad dying. Where was that again?
I did just think, should I text and find out?
Now, your dad's never called into the show. Is that because he loves you less than my dad loves me?
Yep.
Okay. And your dad's never called into the show.
That's correct.
Is that because he loves you less than my dad loves me?
That's classified.
Kerry's dad is my Facebook friend. Will be aware of this podcast once this episode goes up.
He might even listen to it.
You're not a Facebook friend of any of my family, right?
Not Facebook friends, no. Your sister follows me on Instagram.
That's fine.
I used to be Facebook friends with your other sister while she was planning a birthday party for you, a surprise party.
She then gave
she
up
has
on.
Unfriended me?
Well, I think she
or
did actually her
account?
Facebook.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember when we found out that she had blocked me on Instagram despite neither of us following each other?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yikes.
I got a question.
Yeah.
A very visual question. Good for a podcast. This cup, is the drink in it pink or is the bottom of the cup pink?
The bottom of the cup is pink. The drink is dark brown. It is Barks root beer.
Okay, so...
Which famously has bite.
So, yeah, sponsor us, Barks.
Yeah, sponsor us, Barks, you fucking coward.
That's clever. The Barks has bite.
Yeah. That was their...
Yeah, I figured.
They had a great series of commercials in the 90s where, like people would be trying to sell, a guy who wasn't interested in Barks. He'd be like, it has bite. And he'd take a step and he'd go, ouch. It was hilarious. I thought
that the one
funny.
with the dog on it?
That's Mug.
Oh.
Far inferior brand.
Interesting. Interesting. I like this cup because it makes everything in it look like wine.
Yeah. But it tastes better than wine, which famously tastes yucky. And I think we can all agree on that.
Ooh, I got some good grapes at home.
Pre-wines.
Yeah.
Little pre-wine balls.
Yeah. Deconstructed wine, if you will.
Yeah. Phil, what's your topic for the month? I do have one. Kerry, do you have a topic?
Yes.
What's your topic, Kerry?
Romanov history.
Oh, what do you want to tell us?
What's your topic?
My topic is, so Anastasia, a historical figure which has, her life has been turned into several movies, and now I know this is not this movie, but famously a 1990s animated musical. My topic is, what other historical figures would you like to see get very zany animated musicals which incorporate magic and talking animal mascots?
Is there one for Rasputin? That feels...
Rule Rasputin
in
Anastasia.
Despite not really being...
Right. Well, because that's actually kind of relevant to what my topic was. Which is, what other movies or properties would you insert the character of Gleb into? But, yeah, animated, historical... that guy who declared himself Emperor of the U.S. You know what I'm talking about?
I know who you're talking about. I don't know his name.
Describe it to me and to our listeners.
I wish I remembered more of the detail of the story, because it is an interesting and funny thing of this guy who declared himself to be emperor, and people just went along with it.
What?
I don't think he declared. Did he declare himself emperor of the U.S. or did he declare himself? Did he silo off some tract of land in the U.S. and declare himself the emperor?
I own this.
Maybe that's
it. Like a separate state situation.
That might be it.
Like a micronation.
Yes.
Yeah. Do something like Sealand.
Let me see. It's not the Sealand guy.
No. It's different.
And what would the
this
plot
looks like a remake of The Sound of Music right now, with Yul being...
When did The Sound of Music come out?
After this.
So The Sound of Music looks like a remake of this. Boom!
You got me.
United States of the American Empire, a non-serious micronation created by Emperor Norton I in September 1859.
Yes, that is it.
After he went a bit eccentric.
Yeah, there's a lot of... Yeah.
By the way, Yul is teaching...
He also declared himself the protector of Mexico.
I mean, it also looks like it could be King and I.
Yul is teaching Anastasia dance, which I think confirms that he is Dimitri.
They could be singing Shall We Dance right now.
I don't think they are.
I know. I mean, I would assume not.
But they could be.
They could be.
They could be. He's wearing like a tunic type thing.
I think he's been wearing the same thing this whole movie.
Yeah.
But it's very cool.
He lost the sword.
It's kind of romper-ish almost. And with leggings underneath. And then a turtleneck.
Yeah.
I want this outfit. Oh, what if I shave my head and go as Yul from this movie for Halloween?
You're really testing Kerry today.
I think I pitched you that you should shave your head 3 days ago, and you seemed deeply devastated by the prospect.
Yeah, I was like, oh, my hair, and then you were like, you could shave your head, and I was offended.
That would be committed to the podcast. I cannot shave my head because I famously have a weird head.
That's true, famously. Now, Phil, you often have tried to convince me to let you cut my hair.
It's true.
Do you think you could confidently shave my head without making me bleed?
No.
Okay.
Well...
I'm intervening in this
No.
on your behalf.
Oh, I'm not allowed?
No.
Okay.
No. I know my limits. I'm good at haircuts, not at shaving.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So who would play this character? Norton? Who would
Well,
voice
it's
him?
anime. Oh, okay.
Yeah. What celebrity? And when is this being made? The Anastasia movie was made in the 90s, so it stars Meg Ryan and John Cusack. So we need the era it's coming out in, and that's how we'll figure out which stars.
I feel like
should
my
be in it.
immediate thought that works in any time in the last 40 years would be Martin Short.
Okay. And he's animated to look like Martin Short.
I I don't know.
And what's the plot of the movie?
I need to remind myself of the plot of the real life thing.
Okay,
More.
and the
Well,
villain
or
of the
what
movie...
it could be loosely interpreted.
Yeah, I mean,
The
Anastasia...
villain of the movie is Uncle Sam. Well, no, actually, because they went along with it, right?
I was going to say King George.
All right.
But not the one you're thinking.
Or come to help and be like, you want to get away from the U.S. They tried to get away from us like 100 years ago.
Right.
Let's get back at them.
Yeah.
The UK's revenge.
That's
James
well,
Corden.
the sequel to Anastasia is called Anastasia Bartok's Revenge, right? Or Bartok's Return. Who's the little bat
Who's the
figure.
bat? I'm not familiar with the bat.
He's Rasputin's somewhat reluctant sidekick.
Yeah, like a familiar almost.
Like, he was really with him originally, and then in the end of the movie, he walks away. He's like, this is too much. We don't need to do this.
Yeah, you want to drag a lot of people to hell.
Yeah.
I have to go to the bathroom, but this is good because now you have someone else here to speak to. So
Great. You don't have to just prattle on for 2 minutes.
Right, which usually devolves into me just sitting here in silence. Don't do this to me. No. How dare you?
I'm not doing anything.
Anyway, the little bat figure, Bartok,
Yes.
had a direct-to-video sequel. And it's the only sequel, Anastasia, directed by Don Bluth, animation king of the 90s. Famously left Disney to make his own animation studio, mostly in Ireland. But, a lot of those movies had sequels, like The Land Before Time. He didn't work on any of those sequels. All Dogs Go to Heaven, he didn't work on the sequel to that. Or the TV show that was
only this one.
Only Bartok. Because Don Bluth just loved...
I do believe you revealed this to me on our Anastasia video date.
I don't know why I know this, or...
I think you Googled it when we watched Anastasia on our Zoom date.
The truth is that I did almost start a podcast with someone else once called The Gosh Darn Bluth Truth. Or Second Fiddles.
Yes, I think you told me about this.
And
again,
it was going to be a podcast where we watch a Don Bluth movie every week. And there are far fewer than those than Yul Brynner movies, so I don't know why this is the podcast that wound up happening. But I learned about that in my research for that podcast. You know?
Fascinating.
Yeah. So if we ever get that one kicked off, you can come to the be on the Anastasia episode of that podcast.
Sure.
And that one will have listened and watched the movie.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
That sounds nice.
Yeah.
Seems like it'd be really great to understand what's going on here.
Well, look, there's some guys there. You know what's happening. She's Anastasia. He's presenting her. Well, what else is there to know? Oh, you know what?
Whether she believes she's actually Anastasia.
Yul Brynner's not talking right now, so I'm going to turn the volume on.
Oh,
it's in English. No. It's in English. All right. Well, I've muted it again. Thank God we didn't do that while Yul was talking. But that does mean if you, the listener, want to follow along and I don't know why you would want to, but if you want to hear Yul, you can watch along on Graphic Delight's YouTube channel. Phil, welcome back. We found out it's in English.
Yeah, I heard.
Experiment failed.
You're welcome for stopping that earlier.
You're welcome.
Would have had to end the podcast.
It's true. Oh, you're kind of wishing we had done that.
Oh, we only have to hear Yul talk to end the podcast.
I'm going to move the remote away from Kerry.
There's one of us on each side.
Well, you're wrestle the remote out of my hand so that we have to listen to Yul?
Oh, right. I'm on that side. Yeah.
Okay, maybe this will be just a one-person project. I don't know if we can rely on Phil for this.
Mutually assured destruction. If that happens, you start cutting on the walls.
Oh, right.
It's a good bit for all the listeners.
Yep. Kerry, what historical figure would you like there to be an animated film of?
Martha Gellhorn could be fun.
Who is this?
She is she's long dead. She was a war reporter. She was one of Ernest Hemingway's wives. She basically is of that class that was just sort of bopping around the continent in the 30s and 40s and doing nonsense.
What nation of origin did she hail from?
I want to say she's American. I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure she's American. I think.
So who could play her in an anime movie? Someone like Emma Stone, maybe, if it was made today.
Martha Gellhorn. Yeah, she was American, 1908 to 1998.
Whoa.
considered one of the greatest war correspondents of the 20th century.
Do you know what that means? It's possible she would have seen the Anastasia animated movie.
It's possible.
And been like, oh, I saw the 1950s movie as well.
Mm-hmm.
Much like us, we've seen the anime movie. Well, not Phil. But don't worry, Phil. We'll watch the animated movie as a Patreon bonus episode.
Yeah, sure.
It's pretty great.
Do you want to come back to me on that Patreon bonus episode?
No.
Oh, okay.
I told you, one and done.
Phil, how many of the people you think we'll welcome on as guests say, I'm never coming back?
95%.
Okay.
The 5% being if we have your dad on.
He has laid claim to the Magnificent Seven episode. Okay, so what's the animated picture about?
I don't know. Going on adventures, trying to not get blown up.
And this was during World War One? Two. So presumably like Hitler, or that's too cliche.
I feel like we can't make Hitler.
Like Mussolini is the main villain.
Sure.
Right.
I feel like you could also just pick a general European bureaucrat, make it a little smaller scale.
Okay.
Stay away from like the mass murderer level of villain.
Sure, but I mean Rasputin was.
No.
Is he not mass murdered people?
No.
Okay.
He was mostly just a sex pest who kind of led to the whole Tsar downfall situation, but not actually murdering.
So Ernest Hemingway is the villain of this movie.
I could work with Ernest Hemingway being
sex pest?
Yeah.
Okay. Nick Offerman will voice Hemingway.
Okay.
Megan Mullally will voice the reporter.
Alright, we can work with that.
And,
telling that you know Ernest Hemingway's name and not the reporter's name when I said it so recently.
Well, listen, we learned in school.
So much sexism just
wow. Wow.
Drake's going to be cancelled in multiple ways by the end of this episode.
You brought me here, deal with it.
Oh no, I'm dying.
I killed him.
That's cancelled by God. Or the simulation.
Anyway, we'll have music from Beck or something. It's stop motion animated. Great. Phil, what's your topic? What movie should we add Gleb to?
Or just, media.
This podcast.
Now, is Gleb portrayed by the same actor who he is in the stage version of the musical?
Doesn't have to be.
Is he always live action and singing no matter what thing we're adding him to?
You know what? Take it back. He does. Kareem was Gleb in live action.
Oh, was he Gleb?
He was Gleb.
Oh, so I saw him in something.
You did.
Okay.
You once again saw him play a depressed Russian searching for meaning in his life.
Right. Yeah, he helps her out towards the end.
Yes.
Right?
He very nearly murders her.
Wow.
Like
Nobody's
gun
perfect.
to forehead.
Right.
And then she's like, fine, murder me.
Wait, what are you talking about?
The Anastasia plot.
Okay.
The Anastasia the musical plot.
I remember it well.
No one gets murdered in chess.
I didn't think so. It's like,
well...
no one gets murdered.
Isn't there some versions where her father is not revealed to be alive?
It's left up to a mystery whether he's dead or alive.
I would say you could assume he's been murdered.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of threat of what's his name and his wife being murdered.
Poor Slav.
Some previous chess person had been murdered. There's no one murdered on stage, but there's murder happening.
I mean, sure.
That was a good show.
Yes, it was.
Should we do a bonus episode on chess?
No.
If Phil and I were to watch the chess concert, would you come on as a guest for that episode?
It depends on if we'd actually listen to the chess
If we were
concert.
to watch and listen to the chess concert and not talk during it and not record a podcast, would you come as a guest?
I would absolutely come as a guest. In fact, I would host that in my living room.
Cool.
Much like you're hosting this podcast.
Indeed. But under less duress.
I'd like to audition for the role of Dumpty.
What if he said
Thank
Gleb?
you. I'll have my agent be in touch.
That's a 7-second voicemail from 12:25 a.m.
Now, I've also mentioned Dumpty before in this episode, but we do have to stress that actually was not canon. Because that was in the intermission episode, right? Oh, no, sorry.
Dumpty?
No,
Dumpty.
Dumpty
It's
was
canon.
was
We
Cat.
talked about
Sorry,
Dumpty for a
sorry.
long time.
Yes, we did. I forgot. I apologize.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago. We were different. We were different people then.
Yeah. I just learned. So, okay. So these voicemails, they, that was for Taylor.
Yeah, that was for Taylor. Some ASMR.
You're the worst.
These voicemails are my Google Voice, and they provide a little transcription. And at the beginning's not always great, but I have learned that apparently it will censor it in the transcript. There's some censoring of words in the transcript.
Oh, wait, what?
I mean...
Does he say a cuss?
It looks like it.
Where? Show me.
Right there.
Well,
The F star.
Drake got bleep and cracked me up.
Yeah, I mean, we can listen to it now.
I guess we'll have to listen to it.
Yeah, alright. So this one from 3
Maybe
minutes.
there'll be a question for us on this one.
Maybe. I see a question mark.
Okay.
Prince Kong, the motion picture. Drake, that fucking cracked me up, okay? I stopped laughing while I was waiting to get through to this Google call. It's a pain in the ass, actually. I don't know why I do it so much. I'm sure you don't know why I do it so much. Maybe nobody cares. I don't care. Anyway, I would like to audition for the role of Prince Kong also, because that is the movie. I want that movie. You need to make this happen. Or do a King Kong podcast. I mean, I think that's your ticket to fame. King Kong, the podcast.
Is this a scripted podcast?
Or get more creative.
So you hear it, folks. The listeners want more podcasts.
More podcasts. Now, what I don't understand is he asking for a scripted podcast adaptation of King Kong, or is he asking us to do a new podcast where we watch all the King Kong movies? Or just write the new King Kong motion picture?
It sounds like a podcast about King Kong. Is what he
Okay,
wants.
so spin-off podcast.
Yes, another thing which famously I've seen the musical of.
We'll watch every episode of every movie of King Kong.
Okay. Aren't they all kind of the same from what I hear?
Yeah, I think
same
so.
Story?
I watched the first one a couple of years ago. Year ago? During the pandemic. When I was trying to watch every movie released by the Criterion Collection on Laserdisc.
Oh, yeah.
Didn't get very far. You seen King Kong? You haven't seen King Kong in the movie. Have you seen King Kong, Kerry?
I have not.
Well, looks like we got a great crew here for watching King Kong. Huh? Double back-to-back podcast. We'll record all night. Huh? They're both staring at me.
Great.
You know what? Fine. I'll call my buddy who will surely do this podcast with me. Hold on.
Oh, I love that you got another prop.
Beep boop beep 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 boop 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 ba-doop. Bring. Yeah, hello. Hey, Orf, how you doing, man? Yeah, this is Orphan of the Rocks. Hey, man, it's Drake. I was just calling to ask, how would you feel about doing a King Kong podcast with me? Oh, I don't know, man. I don't know about the idea of doing a podcast. Hold on. I got another call coming. I'll have to call you back. Doo-doo.
Well, I tried to interrupt this by playing the voicemail and it didn't play, so you're
that's right. I'm trying to cut off Orphan of the Rocks, but he hung up on me, so...
A shame.
We didn't even get any new lore.
You're almost younger in this movie than the previous ones.
This movie was released the same year as The King and I and The Ten Commandments.
I guess it's possible he did film it earlier. But also I think that he's shinier. It's that color by Deluxe, you know?
I think this is also the only one where he is playing a person who is... I mean, I guess this wasn't modern, but it was much closer in time than those movies were.
True.
To the time it was filmed. You know, what, 1956 it was released. The Romanovs were killed in, 1918 or so?
Mm-hmm.
Is that right?
That's
1918? So this is, less than 40 years later.
True.
And is set, 10 to 15 years after that.
It's set in 1928. I don't know how much time has passed in between that first title card and now.
Likely not more than a year.
Probably not.
So this is only set about 20 years prior to the release of the film.
Interesting.
Now, were there a lot of people in real life who pretended to be Anastasia?
There were a few. I mean, we haven't seen any in the past few decades because, you know, she'd just kind of be dead in general.
Right.
There was one woman who, you know, maintained pretty much to the end of her life that she was Anastasia.
And now, did she...
It's not true.
Did she, like... What... Did she somehow receive money from this, or...
I think she wanted money. I think there were people who sponsored her to try to help her, you know, fight legal battles and get various claims sorted and that kind of thing. But I think she was subsisting. She was not, you know, living a Grand Duchess lifestyle.
Now, famously, like, half of the European nobility were related to the Romanovs.
Indeed.
So, was there at any point someone who... one of their relatives recognized as Anastasia who had survived?
I don't believe so. I think there were a few times where, you know, someone would say, like, you know, be recognized by, like, a fourth or fifth cousin, or a fourth or fifth cousin would claim, like, oh yeah, no, I totally recognize her. But then it would turn out, you know, that person hasn't seen a Romanov since they were a baby, that kind of thing.
Right.
So, I don't believe, you know... A lot of Anastasia movies tend to end with her getting to the Grand Duchess, which would have been Anastasia's grandmother. It was, you know, the main family members survived by leaving Russia before things got dark and going to Copenhagen. I don't believe any of those types of meetings ever happened. I don't think any pretender Anastasia's got to inner circle.
So all these movies just fully made up that, like, a close relative was like, yes, you're Anastasia. Yes. I love you. I trust you. Come into the fold here.
I mean, considering that they all made up that Anastasia survived, yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm very much a downer on this, but, like...
No, it's okay.
She died and her body wasn't even the one that was missing.
But now, how are you upset when movies like this are made and because it makes people think, oh, Anastasia did survive?
No, I think they're fine. I just have read a lot of bad fiction about Anastasia survivalists, and I don't know. The most annoying thing to me is that So, the Romanov family got very brutally murdered. Most of their bodies were dumped in a hole. 2 other bodies were dumped separately. This led to
most people who die, their bodies
get dumped in a hole.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a little more unceremonious than that.
Okay.
Not the worst one to come out of this era, but we're not going to get into that. But...
Stay tuned to the Patreon.
No. But, where was I going with that? 2 bodies were placed in a different grave, which is sort of where the, someone survived came from. But the body that was in the different grave, the woman's body that was in the different grave was not Anastasia, it was her sister Maria. So it's just always very annoying to me that somehow Anastasia has become the survivor one.
Is it just because her name is really cool?
I think her name is pretty cool, and she was like the fun, spunky one. Her siblings called her an imp. She was very mischievous and playful. A family that was not super of that nature, so...
And then in all the movies, she's kind of a downer.
I feel like they tend to keep that personality going.
Is she impish in the animated movie? She doesn't seem impish in this one.
I mean, we haven't heard a word she said.
Wow, no, but impish is a thing you could see in someone. Tim Curry, this guy looks like. Phil, the guy in the glasses. That's, I think, who you think
Yes, I see it.
Yeah. I've got a theory. Maybe Anastasia is still alive today.
Okay. Let him finish.
And she's, what's her name? Anna Delvey. I think she's Anastasia.
Oh. Now,
get the fuck out of here.
No, here's the thing though. Is she the modern day equivalent of an Anastasia pretender?
Yes. That Kerry, I could buy.
He is also obsessed with scammer stories.
It all comes full circle.
So you probably would have actually been really entertained by people pretending to be Anastasia if you were around at the time that was happening.
Maybe. If they made like a soapy prestige drama series about it, perhaps.
Okay.
What if Elvis was Anastasia?
Ooh, okay now. Hold on.
I could say literally anything and Drake would...
I know.
This is great.
Here's my pitch. Austin Butler as Anastasia
You want to break his
in a live-action adaptation of the anime? Yes, because it's the only way to get him out of it. And then he'll sound like Meg Ryan.
All the way around.
Yes.
No, he announced that he was done with the Elvis voice, didn't you?
He did announce that, and then he went on Hot Ones, where at the beginning, he's doing just kind of a monotone voice, and then when he starts getting to the spicier wings, the Elvis voice comes out as if he was consciously trying not to let it out, and unbidden, it is drawn from him.
Wow.
Right. We went into that episode of Hot Ones sort of expecting the opposite.
Yeah.
We thought it would sort of scare off the voice. You know, force him to reveal that he'd been pretending the whole time.
That's why he was hired for this role, but that is his natural self. It's the Austin Butler voice is the fake one.
No, I think he Stockholm syndrome himself with a voice.
I think he did voice coaching for like 3 years or something, and now he's stuck that way.
Yeah. I finished my soda.
Well, he's not even the best thing in that movie.
What's the best thing in that movie?
Tom Hanks' great voice.
That's not what it sounds like. You've seen the picture.
I have.
Mm-hmm. You haven't.
I have.
You've seen that picture?
Elvis? I saw it at a screening.
When?
Months ago.
Before I did?
Yeah.
Well, I feel like we talked about it and you were acting as if you had not seen it at all. Or
No, I saw it. I thought it was fun.
Huh. Okay.
Yeah, no, because like I famously like Bob Lerman a lot more than Taylor does.
Baz Luhrmann. But
He's great.
Did he do Moulin Rouge?
Yes, he did.
Don't worry, we won't be doing a podcast. Actually.
Phil, what if we overthrow him and do a podcast about Moulin Rouge?
Right now?
Right now.
Moulin Rouge?
Well, here's the thing. I don't want to get too far ahead of myself. There might be a Moulin Rouge episode at some point. Not for many, many, many years.
Why?
I don't want to go into it on air.
Why?
I don't want to go into it on air.
Fascinating.
Why?
I feel like you have a lot of podcasts, like episode ideas for things that have no involvement with Yul Brynner.
Well, I mean, I can talk about it, but then we're going to have to do it.
That's not true.
I have thought that after we finish all of the Yul filmography, we would pick another actor whose name kind of sounds like you.
Ewan?
So here's looking at you and Kid.
Oh.
And then we watch all the Ewan McGregor movies.
Alright, well, if you did Moulin Rouge, I would come back for that.
No, but this doesn't work because we've heard them.
I mean, but we won't when we do the commentary.
That's true.
You're talking about all these movie crossovers or like shared universe movies, and Drake, you absently remarked that Moses was on Tatooine, and I'm thinking, you said it and you didn't even catch it. Moses on Tatooine? The motion picture? Think about it.
I mean, I'm thinking about it. Is there a Star Wars figure that's kind of like Moses?
Why are you looking at me like I know much
Phil's
about
not
Moses?
seen Star Wars. Well, no, but you know Star Wars.
Yeah, but I don't know which characters are like Moses.
Well, you know who Moses is.
Abandoned as a baby, performs miracles. Luke Skywalker, maybe?
Okay. There you go.
I don't know.
He's already... You don't need another movie. It's just Star Wars.
It's been a long time since I went to Sunday school.
Alright. What about Monday school?
I mean, our Sunday school was called CCD and it was on Tuesdays, so...
CCD. I remember CCD. Not going to it, but hearing people talk about it.
Well, that's like...
What does that stand for?
Catholic Christianity indoctrination. The I is as well, but the D is...
I'm going to think Catholic child development.
That sounds right. That could be it.
For us, it was on Wednesdays. I didn't go to either, but some kids would leave school early to go to it. And I was like...
I mean, mine was the day it was on varied based on what grade you were. When I was in high school, it was on Sundays.
Wait, you still did that in high school?
I did it until I made my confirmation.
I thought you made confirmation when you were young.
Most people do, and this church now does, but when I was in it, you didn't do it until sophomore year of high school.
Now, I have a question about your family in that case.
Okay.
Your siblings all play sports.
Yes, they do.
If sports and the religious education fell on the same day, which happened?
Usually the religious education was at an hour where, you could rush to the hockey game, eat food in the car, get to CCD.
After the hockey game?
After the hockey game. Or sometimes vice versa. Go to CCD, eat something and change into your pads in the car, go to the game.
Is there extra time, overtime in hockey? There is.
Yes.
Because we recently watched a game.
We did recently watch one of my siblings' games.
Right.
I think it's actually pronounced CC because it's God emails the priest and the CCs all the children.
Let's listen to the next call.
Oh, okay.
I would add Gleb to Fleabag.
Because you was having a scene on
You're
your
just
show?
looking at that, huh? Today is the anniversary, the 4-year anniversary.
Faye Ray played the character, the actress in King Kong in the original, the character's name was Anna Darrow, or Darrow. I don't know if that's the same character in the remake in the late 70s, played by Jessica Lange. I'm not sure if it's the same character or if it's a different character with a similar background. I don't know. I could check on that. But, Anna Darrow. So I don't know if that anime is some kind of adaptation of Anna Darrow or if that's her middle name. I don't know. But yeah, Anna Darrow. Day Ray. Who's going to play Prince Kong, man?
Well, first of all, I assume like an animatronic or something. Second of all, Phil, I don't think you should be holding the phone quite that close to the mic because the levels just go haywire when you do that.
Yeah, I've noticed, but tradition.
All right.
Yes, I believe anime in the musical is the parallel to Anna Darrow.
Her name sounds like anime. Did I say that last time?
That's the thing I noticed. If you didn't, I certainly did.
Right.
I
Did
noticed
you
it
see King Kong
immediately.
musical, Kerry?
No, I did not.
Bad show, great puppet.
Written by Jack
So I
Thorne,
heard.
who's getting his claws on the Stranger Things play. Did you see that?
I did see that.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
The Stranger Things prequel play premiering in London.
This guy just has his claws on any adaptation that has anything to do with English people lately.
It's because he likes money.
A Christmas Carol.
Did he do the Christmas Carol that we just saw?
No.
Okay,
No.
that was good.
He did the one a couple of years ago that Hot Scrooge. It was a great adaptation, but
his Dark Materials, he ruined that. Hi, Jack Thorne.
Call in.
Yeah, come on the podcast and explain yourself.
Answers.
Yeah. How many messages do we have left to listen to?
How much time is left in this movie?
I think like 30 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yeah, 40
We
minutes.
only have 18 messages left.
I mean, that's one every 2 minutes for the next...
Yeah, well, I think we better start barreling through them if we want to listen to them all.
I've been there.
Oh, it's at Tivoli?
Tivoli Gardens. It's a theme park in Copenhagen.
Oh, so they're in...
Denmark.
Oh, okay. What I think was France.
They were in France before.
Gotcha.
All the king's horses are indeed seahorses, just as you said, whatever you said about water polo and the horses, I thought seahorses. So yes, I can confirm all the king's horses are indeed seahorses. Also, people do live on Skull Island. They do, because they're the ones that give the woman to Kong as an offering. Alright. You should know these things, man. I haven't done my job. I failed you as a father.
No, the woman is an actress. She's on Kong Island to film Skull Island to film a movie with the director. The people of Skull Island do not offer her up. I don't think so. I just watched this movie like a year or two ago. I don't think that's the case.
Which version of the movie was it?
The original.
Okay.
Kerry's fact checking. Kerry, this is what's great about Kerry. Is if you say something, she'll fact check it. Who's ringing our bell? These are your books.
I believe those are my books.
Oh, wow.
You read. I'll be back.
Oh boy, this is...
Well,
Here's a 10-second
walk away with my
voicemail from
package.
12 minutes later.
All in all, there's no more holes in the wall. Work on the theme song, get the rights. I don't know what you gotta do. It's gotta be.
Alright, we'll get the right to the song Hole in the Wall to be the theme song for the Humpty Dumpty movie.
They witness a group of natives preparing to sacrifice a young woman termed the Bride of Kong. The intruders are spotted and the native chief stops the ceremony. When he sees Anne, he offers to trade 6 of his tribal women for the Godwin woman, or problematic. They refuse him and return to the ship. See, so they want to offer her to Kong, but that does... Oh, wait. Oh, sorry, wait. That night, the natives kidnap Anne from the ship and take her through the gate and onto an altar where she is offered to King Kong, a giant gorilla-like beast. All right, I stand corrected. But did you know that there are dinosaurs on that island, too?
The more you know.
The more you know. So, we were both... They originally offer someone else, and then they kidnap her.
That's what I thought.
But... This guy looks like a teacher of mine from high school.
Oh, yeah, he does.
Right? Yeah.
All right, here's a minute-long one.
So, hello, guys. As I, Roger, Jolly Roger, Yul Kid Roger, as I sit here listening to the podcast, every once in a while, like, I enjoy all of it, but every once in a while, something cracks me up. Sometimes it's Phil, sometimes it's Drake.
Sometimes it's Kerry.
But very often, Drake will go off on, like, some kind of, like, spiel or diatribe, dialogue, what have you, monologue, and very excitedly, and that's always enjoyable because, anyway, and you'll... he'll finish, and you'll just come in with a, great, or a, yeah, and I don't know, it's just, I can't even deliver it the way you do. It cracks me up, and I thought it was worth praising you and telling you. And, yeah, I love the way Drake tells a story because he tells a story like I tell a story. And enough said about that.
Great.
There you go.
Oh, man. I mean, if anyone, any of our listeners call in any time with praise, that's fine.
That's right.
Here's
Now, Kerry, are any of these calls going to be from you? Because you, of course, are one of the listeners from the bedroom.
No.
Okay.
I've seen all the Spider-Man movies. You can say whatever you want. But thank you for the consideration. Appreciate it. Dave from Queens.
Yeah, last time we were talking about the Spider-Man movies, and I thought my father had not seen a few, so I said we should. It looks like this is this still looks like just like, I mean, I guess they're
The curtains
sleeping together in another room. But yeah, the curtain going, it looks like one of those videos that like would be playing like lo-fi beats and just has a little bit of animation.
I mean, this, yeah.
Yeah. Cinematograph, I believe they're called.
So, like, do you think they're talking from another room where music is playing?
Oh, well.
Here's Yul.
I want to play this next.
This is the podcast. This is the whole podcast. We look at the screen and go, well, we don't know what's happening because there's no sound.
I want to play this next.
And it never occurred to you, huh? What an odd concept we've come up with here.
Well, it's too late now.
It's never too late.
I want to play this next message here. Because it's only 17 seconds. It's getting back to the Humpty topic.
Oh, it's from David from Queens?
It is from David from
Okay.
Queens. And I feel like I want to discuss.
You guys are missing the most obvious choice for who should play one of the Humpty Dumptys in one of the alternate realities.
He's going to say him.
I mean, come on. Yul Brynner. Jeez.
Yul Brynner's
I failed
dead.
you as a parent.
You could do a weird CGI, what's
like
his face in Rogue
hologram.
One thing.
Did we not? I feel like... We didn't mention Yul?
I mean, he's dead, so...
Right, no, but he's talking about... Because I think we had a conversation about, like, if you could use anyone for any time.
Maybe we thought it was too much of a gimme?
Maybe, yeah.
I don't remember.
You don't be honest. Now, this is interesting.
I think this is Anastasia's grandmother here.
Yeah, we've
Oh,
seen her
never
before,
mind.
I believe.
Good sets in this movie. I return to these. Remember when movies
Remember
had
when
sets?
movies had sets?
Ugh.
Physical sets, physical effects. Actors who look like we're definitely in the same room when this was filmed.
Yeah.
Now, to be fair, there have been some effects in both this and especially in Ten Commandments that are very clearly just an early version of a blue screen.
Sure.
Well, yes, like if they're driving or whatnot.
So...
I mean, like, yes, obviously that's a painting out the window, right? But it still looks...
No, and she's a hologram.
Oh, This woman's Howard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like the good wife. These two hated each other, so they had to be CGI.
Yeah.
To be in the
Right,
same.
like my point, yes. Like I fully believe that these people are actually interacting with each other.
Yeah. Oh, you know what? This one sitting down looks like one of the... actually, both of them kind of look like the old women in Kiki's delivery service that make Kiki bake a cake in their house. Do you remember them? Yeah. I feel like you've not seen Kiki's
Sorry,
delivery
that was
service.
I have. I've seen it once.
When?
I've seen it with someone a while ago. It's fine.
Oh, we'll talk about this after.
We have talked about it.
We have?
Yeah.
We haven't, Phil.
That's true. But...
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
okay,
yeah. No,
alright,
yeah, I've seen it
sorry.
once. I vaguely remember them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great picture.
Great picture.
My favorite movie of all time.
Is she practicing to go pull some 3-card Monte scans out on the street?
She's doing 52 card put down. I mean, I don't know what she's playing. This is not solitaire. Did you know what I found out? Is that solitaire is not a game, but a genre of game, any card game you play.
I was going to say, yeah.
Thought that solitaire was specifically, the 5 stacks.
No, that's Klondike Solitaire, I believe.
That sounds right.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, that's it's a common one.
And you can't play solitaire without a solitaire table.
Yep, that's true.
Yul smokes a lot in this movie, and I'll remind you that he died of lung cancer. So, in some ways, Anastasia may be partially to blame for his death.
Or do you think he was like in his contract? I must be smoking.
That feels more
He's
accurate.
like, all my characters smoke.
Yeah,
Just smoke all the time.
that feels likely to me.
Yeah.
All right, we've only got 3 voicemails left from this night.
Oh, okay.
So
I was
let's.
gonna say, I didn't think we had listened to.
Yeah, we are now at
25
1:20 a.m.
So you can't know this, jolly Yule Kid Roger. You can't know this because you've never seen this movie and you don't know the story and you're not listening to it. But the burning bush is the voice of God. And if you have the sound on, that fire is talking to Moses and is giving him the 10 Commandments.
No.
And by the time you hear this, you'll be on probably either a different, you'll probably, okay. Part 2, part 1, maybe? Yeah. Hopefully. I think you promised that it was going to be out like next week, but by the 25th. And what's today? I think today is like the 19th or the 17th, something like that.
Very close. It would be 18th.
And we did release that.
We did. We are so efficient. We are past that. We are almost done with Anastasia now.
That's right. And Phil, we didn't even talk about how, for the first time since the show started, this episode is going up on the 10th of the month, the day we said it would.
Yeah, baby. All right, here's a great 10-second voicemail from 10 minutes later.
It's a busy signal, not a dial tone. It's a busy signal, not a dial tone.
This is
I
just
failed you as a father.
What did he say?
I failed you as a father.
What?
I failed you as a father.
I failed you as a father.
This
You
is
were
just like a
calling it-
live fact check for you
You were
guys.
calling it a dial tone, not a...
There are no busy signals don't exist anymore. Excuse me. You failed as a father?
No, there's-
Society failed you when it had phones that couldn't take more than one call at a time.
I am pretty sure I mentioned the same thing while that was happening, though.
You know what? Everyone can go fuck themselves. How about that?
Let's listen to this last voicemail from this night, and then we'll... It's only 30 seconds.
Yule Kid Roger Jolly. So I'm just about at the end, and Drake, you cracked me up. You have to go back and listen to it someday. Toward the very end, like within the last 3 minutes, maybe 2 minutes. Yep, within the last 2 minutes, you're talking about the difference between the masked dancer and the masked singer, and it's just, you had to be there. I mean, but you were.
I think Jim Carrey.
Whoa!
Oh. Was
that? What was that? A little bit of a... Should we listen to that end again?
Was that a clip from our episode?
Oh, yeah, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's just, you had to be there. I mean, but you were. I think Jim Carrey.
That's my voice.
That is your voice.
Wow, my voice coming back to me from a recording on a voice. Ugh. Dire.
Alright, so now we've only got 10 left. Not all from your father.
What?
What?
Don't get too excited.
Oh, wait. I remember this.
Did you do one of these?
No, I didn't do any of these.
Yeah, Drake wouldn't call in.
I wouldn't call in.
Would one of your characters call in?
Oh, I forgot, and I wasn't going to do them, and I was going to let that be. Oh, wow.
You don't have to listen to it now.
I forgot that you get the little, yes. Well. Yeah, because we did a test to see if you could pick it up, because your phone actually rings when these come in.
It sure does.
Has this ever, have you ever been, doing something important and, been like, oh, someone's calling me, or...
No, because it comes in... So far, they've only come in at such late or early times, and I'm like, there's gotta be...
So does your phone ring at, 3 in the morning, and you're like, I don't need to worry, that's David from Queens?
Well... Yeah.
Okay.
Well, because I don't want to... Because we don't have live call-in, so it needs to be left for... I need to let it go to voicemail.
Right. Do you have his number saved in your phone?
I don't. I should. Now, but now I'm realizing, if Dave from Queens ever decided to call me personally on my phone number, I don't know if I'd be able to tell.
Does he have your phone number? I think
I
he
don't
does.
know.
He might.
I mean, I'd be able to tell, but it probably would be at 3 p.m. or something.
Right.
But, yeah, I don't know. I'll figure that out. I should be able to mark... I in general, want to look at that anyway, of not having a ring and call that number.
Well, we had 25 minutes left. How many voicemails do we have left?
10.
Maybe you should start barreling through these.
Alright. I think a lot of them are short.
Kerry, did you have anything else?
No.
I mean, never mind. They're not all that. They're not the many very short ones. Alright, so now we cut to... It's actually the ridiculous time. February 20th, 9:36 a.m.
This is still before part 3. Oh, this is the intermission.
This is the intermission, yes. We've got 3 intermission voicemails, I believe.
I wonder if the heat coming up can be heard on our... Yep. Great.
Pretty faint.
It's pretty loud on the podcast.
Sorry. Listen to it.
Sorry, listeners.
I like that the point of this mic was to not have a buzz.
Yep.
Oh. Never mind. Alright, here we go. Sorry, I couldn't find the play button. Alright, here we go. Oh my god, no.
Yul SMR. I just want to state that again for the record. I'm saying Yul SMR. Anyway, you've had a great run, Drake, on this show. But, all good things come to an end. And I'm set to replace you as the host, or as a co-host of, replace as a co-host of Here's Looking at Yule, Kid. And I'm no longer your jolly Yule Kid Roger. I think our callers, our listeners, will now be known as Drakes. Okay, once again, that's Yule SMR. Phil, I'll get in touch and we'll figure out when we're going to record the next podcast. All right, talk to you soon.
Excuse me. So this is when I went to take a bathroom break. You whispered in the mic, David, do you want to host?
I am now remembering I did say something like, if you call in and you want to replace getting posted in the podcast, you can. I've seen him and he mentioned that I didn't know what was coming in the podcast, but he did. So hold on. First of all, why am I here today? Just any Amendola will do for you to host this show. So what I'm hearing is Brothers Kazmarov, you, Taylor, my dad. Listen, listen, I did forget that I had said this. Well, maybe we should listen.
That's a verbal contract legally binding in the state of New York.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's listen to this one.
I can't believe it. I'm out of a job.
I mean, this is like a few minutes after that. Oh my god. Sorry. Okay, here we go.
You're jolly little kid, Roger. Okay, that old voicemail was the fact that it didn't say a year probably means it was 2022. It was sad, yeah, and I really think that we or you guys, you old kids, because I don't know how to do this kind of stuff. Well, I guess it doesn't matter. The point is, you guys should start a GoFundMe thing for Craig, and then call that number back and give him the money when it comes through, if it comes through. I mean, it's worth a shot. Don't we feel a little bit of an obligation to some degree? I'll help if I can. Tell me what I can do. Tell me how to do it, and I'll fucking set it up. All right. Ball's in your court, you old kids. Oh, wait, that's me.
Now, first of all, of course, that episode's non-canon, so Craig is fine.
Yeah.
Second of all, I'm not the host of this podcast anymore, so you do something about it. I went to try to turn off the radiator while that call was playing.
Oh, no.
And the knob would not turn, and I burned my hand pretty badly. It is very red. It hurts a lot.
Oof.
And there's also like a little line on it, like a burn line. You see that?
I feel like you should take a break from the podcast and get some ice.
All right. Well, I'm not the host anymore, so Phil,
Yeah,
you and our
not
guests.
hosting. Phil's our only host.
Well,
Does ice actually, is that good for a burn? I thought you weren't supposed to.
Google it. I don't know.
I think-
You want me to Google that for
You don't want to know what the levels just did there.
he knows.
you? I can't Google it. I have.
I think it's.
That's what I did when I burned myself the other week.
It might. I think it's like it's not necessarily like a.
I think it's a minor enough burn that you're fine. Wrap it in paper towel.
For like, don't do ice.
Don't do ice.
But do wrap it in a.
Like bandage?
Like a cool, damp towel.
Yeah. Oh, running it under cool water is fine. It's like if you have a severe burn, then you don't do anything. But that would be.
Yeah, it's not a super burn.
We're not going to do that.
Yes.
Yeah, no, that's good because no pain would be a bad sign.
Yes, it would.
Do you have plastic wrap?
Yes, we do.
Loosely wrapped.
No. I think that.
I mean, it's not like burned off.
Yeah.
It's
No, I know.
Take an ice pack, wrap it in a paper towel, hold it on your hand.
Yeah, that's
I
fine.
think I'm just gonna do nothing. Like, it might blister a little bit. Like, you can see.
I think all of this is for like much more severe burns.
I'm trying to think of the times that I've burned.
Yeah.
I've had equivalents. And yeah, take an ice pack, wrap a paper towel around it so it's not on your skin, and put it on your hand.
I mean, it's in a bag.
Yeah, I know, but do a paper towel anyway.
Yeah.
Just so it doesn't stick or anything.
Here's burning Yule, kid.
Yeah, I hope people are enjoying this little impromptu first aid session. None of this constitutes medical advice, and
But it does constitute legal advice.
as a disclaimer, it does not constitute legal advice.
This is a real podcast where real things happen. It's not scripted.
Unfortunately, it is not scripted.
Oh, should I script one day?
Who can say you haven't?
I can confirm.
All right. Now I do want to listen to this next voicemail.
Okay.
Because this
You're
seems.
gonna get fired back.
Is this from David from Queens?
It is from David from Queens. The little skimming of the preview. Can't wait. This is our longest one left. Okay. 1 minute 8 seconds.
Okay, I don't usually do this, call into podcasts, but I had an epiphany because of your show, and I realized something that is life altering.
Making a difference.
I don't know. It's crazy, but just listen to what I have learned through your show. I am God. freaking me out too. I know what you're thinking, but I'm listening to the non-canon episode, and God says, cease and desist this non-canon episode. I need my next episode of the Ten Commandments. I mean, it's clear. I am God. I called in. I'm split. I guess I don't remember it, but I heard it. And yeah, wow. Thanks, guys. I got a lot of work to do. I do have a 3-day weekend. Actually, it's a 4-day weekend. I snuck in that other day. Yeah. Yeah, I'm also off on Wednesday.
So here's the thing, though, is that episode wasn't canon,
Not canon.
so he's not really God.
Well then...
Although in high school my nickname was Jesus, and who was Jesus?
God,
The Son of God.
Wow.
Wow.
It's all coming together. But it's high school canon.
Isn't that the age-old question? Do you think high school is canon?
Yes.
Answered.
Asked and answered.
This one's 8 seconds long.
Drake, God commands you. Stop chewing on the microphone. It's gross, bro.
Wow.
Why did I chew on the microphone? Oh, food. No, I didn't have any food.
Yeah, during the non-canon one.
Oh, right. I was eating lunch.
Yeah.
Right. Well, that one's non-canon.
Yeah.
And the character was eating at the dinner club.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you loved me taking that big sip of Barks earlier then. But look, non-canon episodes don't have rules. Oh, look, she's royal now.
But
she's
they do have
Anastasia.
rules. And, okay, that's good. Now we've listened to all... So now the only ones we have left are from the most recent, February 25th. I mean, still 6 messages.
The one not from my dad, is that the most recent?
Yes.
Okay,
That
so
is
we'll
from
save
Sunday.
that for the last one.
Sure.
Alright, well, we've got not much time left in this movie. About 15 minutes left, 17 minutes, so...
Should we barrel through?
Let's and then
Oh,
honestly, don't call in 27 times in between this one because it takes up too much time.
Alright, so...
Obviously, we had so much to talk about that we didn't get to.
I feel like you've said it too late in the podcast for that to matter.
Oh, yeah.
We're 90% done. He's gonna get to this, and then you're gonna get 10 more calls about how sorry he is for calling too much.
This
And you're gonna
podcast
listen
is
to all
slowly
of
just
them.
going to become us calling into his podcast.
I mean, isn't that what I'm doing right now?
Yeah,
He's the host. He's calling into his own podcast.
you're right. Alright, February
If one of these
25th.
isn't about St. Patrick's Day thing, Kerry's going to have to decide what
right.
St. Patrick's topic is.
Alright, so we do need to get
I'm
through
gonna
these to
what?
see if that's...
Yeah, so we said that listeners got to choose the topic for what we'd watch for the St. Patrick's Day special. And if my dad or one of the other callers doesn't say, then you're going to get to decide. You don't have to be on it, though.
No.
No,
All
you
right.
won't decide, or no, you don't have to be on it.
No, I'm not gonna be on it.
Yeah.
Great. Alright, February 25th, 8:07 a.m.
Good morning. Here's looking at Yule Kid hosts. It's your Jolly Yule Kid Roger, and I am an hour, 3 minutes, and 9 seconds into the Ten Commandments Part 3. And I usually call in way before this, and there were a few times I almost did, but I'm really tired today. But I had to call to tell you what got me to call in. Phil, it's time to play a game. That song is fucking awesome. Later, I'm going to write the lyrics down. That's a great song. Very well done. Thank you. Oh, and you forgot to mention your special guest for the 10, redo. You didn't state, I guess you want to keep it a surprise, but you didn't state your special guest for the Magnificent Seven. How could you?
Well, we have 6.
Yep. It's you. But can you be a guest if you're the host? I guess I'll be the guest for the Magnificent Seven.
I mean, it seems like that has been dropped.
It does seem. Maybe that wasn't canon. I guess we played a game, in the last time?
Well, he wrote down the lyrics, so...
So maybe one of these calls is
Maybe.
him telling us the lyrics.
there were two things that I wanted to comment on, but I only remember one because it takes a little bit to get through.
Comment on
The Sermon on the Mount was not given by Moses. That's a Jesus thing. So, totally different. You guys, the movie's almost over. You definitely missed him bring down the Ten Commandments unless it happens at the end. I haven't seen the movie in a really long time. And there was something else. And I don't want to keep calling back. I can't remember. Especially on Star Magnificent 7. Don't forget. Bye.
All right, so he's self-correcting now.
Yeah.
Yul's smoking again.
Classic Yul.
So it's me again. So I just went back a little bit to see if I could remember what I wanted to say, and I did, but then something else happened. I reheard Phil asking, is that where Sermon on the Mount comes? Genuinely curious. And Drake answers with such conviction, yep, and no. But anyway, there was a question put forth as to whether the Orphan of the Rock should be canon or legend, whatever. I don't know. I was going to say originally, no, absolutely not. He's terrible. But then throughout the episode, he has made me laugh a few times. So I guess undecided on the status of the character. But sure.
You're a real Stockholm Syndrome guy when it comes to characters, huh?
What do you mean?
You just keep doing them until people are forced to admit that they're okay, otherwise go crazy.
The very first call we ever got for this podcast was my dad singing the praises of Googly the Googler. And we all love the butcher joke.
We're
Phil
friends.
silently nodded. Kerry glared.
No, the butcher joke's good.
And we're friends, did you say?
Yeah. I'm implying Stockholm Syndrome. Right.
You did tell me the butcher joke on one of our first dates. This could all just be a ploy to
and
make
you
it
did
end.
instantly hate it.
I did.
Yeah.
That hasn't stopped you from telling it a bunch more times.
I like the idea that maybe the origin of Phil's and my friendship is I kidnapped him, and then eventually he was like, "Yeah, I'll hang. I'll come back to do a podcast."
Got a track.
Oh, it's so loud. It hurts so badly. I've been able to turn that before. I don't know what was wrong. Oh, wow. Let's listen.
Well, you know what? You won't have any dead air.
Phil, if you make the rings extra long in an attempt to deter me from leaving voicemail, it's not going to work. But anyway, I feel like the listeners in Malaysia tuned in because they are genuine Yul Brynner fans, and then they stopped listening. And thirdly, and the reason that was the reason I called. Oh, there's some, you guys don't even know it, but there's some really good voicemails coming your way. I had a very morning, night, whatever it was. You'll see.
Past ones you've listened to.
Got it, yeah.
Now, first of all, I'm offended that he would think that the Malaysian people listening would not be like, wow, great podcast, we want to listen to this. But I am delighted by the idea that he thinks you can control how often your phone rings to deter people from leaving voicemails.
Yeah, I think that's not... There's nothing that would have changed the length of that. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, last voicemail from Dave from Queens.
As far as I can remember, the Dead Sea Scrolls have nothing to do with Moses. I believe, and I'm not positive, but I believe they're supposed to be missing parts of the Bible that the Catholic Church does not accept as canon, I think. I'll look it up at some point.
There are a lot more Gospels than the four that make up the Bible.
Do you know anything about the Dead Sea Scrolls?
Yes, very, very loosely.
What are those?
I don't know that much about the Dead Sea Scrolls. When I say I know what they are very, very loosely, I think I mean I know that they exist.
Okay, so you know
and they are the
them...
subject of of a Dan Brown novel, featured in a Dan Brown novel.
So you know about as much as my father, but my father more confidently called in to say what
Those are...
I believe they're in the Vatican archives. They're real. Ancient Jewish and Hebrew religious manuscripts delivered in between 1946 and 1956.
But they're the Vatican?
I believe so.
I was going to say I thought I had seen them but
Israel?
I've never been to the...
Most of the scrolls... Oh, no, you're right. Most of the scrolls are held by Israel in the Shrine of the Book at the Israel Museum.
Oh, I don't think
And
I know
then some of them are displayed in Jordan. Ownership of the scrolls is also contested by the state of Palestine. Which makes sense. No, I'm thinking the other Gospels.
Unfortunately, we don't have time to get into the Israel-Palestine conflict on this week's episode.
But Colin, tell us what you think. All right,
oh, no!
We got one more
I think this guy
here.
will call, and I think he's got strong thoughts on Israel.
This is why we make sure we don't get doxxed.
One voicemail here from a different number. Could be David from Queen calling from a different number, but I don't know. We'll find out.
Hey, this is the Orphan of the Rocks. I'm just going in and saying hello and seeing how my old pals are doing. Great and Phil, you guys are great guys. Well, thank you for putting me up that one time. I think my voice may have changed a little bit. Anyway, my special episode is coming up soon. I hope you're all excited for it. I hope your listeners are excited for it. Okay, you guys take care now, alright? Okay, alrighty then. Oh, ouch.
Is that what the Orphan of the Rock sounded like last time?
Well, it's not what it sounded like this time, I'll say that. So we have listened to all of our voicemails.
I regret saying that there would be an Orphan of the Rocks episode this month, but I have to write and record that now.
I forgot that one.
Oh, Phil's fleeing again.
Yep.
Now, Kerry, how would you feel if I set aside, 6 days and solely devoted them to an Orphan of the Rocks episode of this podcast?
Well, there is...
6 days?
Yes, he did. But there is going to be a 2-week window where I don't live here. Because I will be on a trip.
Here. You're just going to be traveling.
I will be out of the country. There is no feasible way in which
Orphan
I
Rock
can
should
interact
happen
with
then.
it. So yes.
Except I promised the episode would be this month and you're not traveling this month.
Well, it doesn't delay it.
Okay.
Orphan of the Rock has laryngitis. Problem solved.
Oh, sorry, listeners. The
He
Orphan
won't
of the
recover
Rocks
till April.
will appear next month. Kerry, what movie should Phil and I watch for the St. Patrick's Day special?
I don't know. Is there any Yul Brynner St. Patrick's... Now, wait. What are the rules about the movies for specials?
It could be anything. Sometimes
anything.
it's...
Is there any St. Patrick's Day movie?
We've only had one special so far, which is Here's Looking at Yule Kid when we watched the Yule Log.
I recall.
We also recorded an episode on the King and I animated feature.
Yes, I was there for that too.
Which is coming out next month.
Yes.
So really there's no rule. If we can get the word Yule in there somewhere, I think that's beneficial.
Now, this seems like a good time to do an episode that you have pitched a few times, which is just that you should do a Titanic special episode.
Right. Near, far, wherever you are.
Now, there's a guy in Titanic who's Irish. He's a character. He's got a name. He's got a face. That feels like enough of an excuse to make it St. Patrick's Day themed.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me, what's his face?
A lot of Irish
built in
people
Belfast.
built... Yeah, that's right.
A lot of Irish people drowned.
That would be a very long episode.
It would, but I wouldn't be here involved, so it's not my problem.
And I would have to record it by St. Patrick's Day. Well, that's next weekend, right?
Oh,
Or is that this weekend?
I believe
this weekend coming up.
The weekend after. Isn't it the 17th?
The 17th, right.
So it's the Friday,
It's
maybe?
Friday following
Following the party.
following this one. Okay. Well, Phil, we're watching Titanic for these.
No, we're not.
We're not?
No, I've established I will never watch Titanic.
Why won't you watch Titanic?
Well, you wouldn't have to listen to it.
I don't know.
Now, what if you guys did a special 20-minute episode on the way to or from or whatever Titanic on Tuesday?
What if...
That I would do.
Wait, what if we find another movie that's the exact same length as Titanic, and you watch that and I watch Titanic,
Avatar: Way of the Water.
and we do a podcast about both of these at the same time?
Sure.
All right. Well,
my computer will watch back to back.
Well, I think it's a we could do this on Zoom, you know.
Okay.
So
even less interesting.
You don't even have to have a movie on.
I watch, you watch Titanic.
That's right. That's right.
Oh, boy.
We'll look for
Watching
that
you,
on St.
watching
Patrick's
me.
Day.
That's it.
That's it. Well, we're in the last 4 minutes of this episode. Anastasia is hugging definitely her real grandma.
Was that Angela Lansbury in there?
I think so, yeah.
She did?
Yeah, recently.
Yeah. I saw her perform live once and sing Beauty and the Beast. Yes, she performed live and alive.
Yeah. Great.
Is that what was...
Same path.
Okay. Alright, so what are you looking forward to next month, Phil, on the podcast?
On the podcast.
We got the St. Patrick's Day special coming up.
What's the next movie we have?
Brothers Kaczmarov.
Oh, that's the next one.
Yes. Presumably featuring our second ever guest.
Big presumption, but yes.
Good book.
You've read the book? Do you want to come be a guest?
No.
Oh. Do you want to record a little snippet where you tell us about the book? That way we have context for when we watch it. It does have to be now.
Well, you can call in the voicemail.
I
could.
And you will?
No.
Oh,
She could.
she could. Well, Kerry, when's the last time you were on a podcast?
This is the last time she's on a podcast.
Well, yes. Previous to this, probably 2018 or 2019.
Now, that podcast was significantly shorter than this one, right?
Yes, the last podcast that I remember being on was about 5 minutes long.
So how would you say your
What was the
experiences
topic?
stack up?
Mysterious Icelandic hot chocolate.
Now, which do you like more? Iceland or Yul Brynner?
Iceland.
Which do you like more, hot chocolate or facts about the Romanovs?
Depends on the quality of the hot chocolate.
Depends on the quality of the fact.
I mean, they're facts. They don't
What's
really have a lot of quality.
the
Now, wait.
Iceland.
My last name's almost Romanov.
Oh! Phil, are you Anastasia?
Am I Anastasia?
Oh, I can't believe we didn't get into this earlier. We've got almost no time to unpack whether you're Anastasia or not. Okay. Kerry, hit us with some facts about Anastasia and we'll see if Phil... If it
lines up?
Yeah, if it lines up.
Died in 1918.
True.
Okay. Wow, you look great.
Thank you.
For a 105-year-old corpse? Congratulations.
Yeah. Thanks.
He got embalmed. That embalming fluid really preserves you. What else?
Youngest of 4 children. Or youngest of 4 girls.
Yep. That's true.
Okay, that's 2 for 2.
So far, this has been making sense.
Has a hemophiliac younger sibling.
Yeah, at times, yeah.
Okay.
That's...
Okay. All right, we're 3 for 3. Phil, why don't you tell us a fact about yourself, and we'll check with Kerry if that's true of Anastasia as well.
Mm-hmm.
So tell us a fact about you.
My name is Anastasia Romanov.
No.
Anastasia Romanov's name wasn't Anastasia Romanov?
No, that's just not Phil's name.
No.
No, that's
Not the question.
Whatever I say is true.
No, I understand.
Yeah, you just got lying.
So the question is if it's true for Anastasia.
Is that true for Anastasia?
It's
Yes,
confirmed.
okay. It's true for...
Confirmed
Hold on,
by
we need
Kerry.
2 more facts.
Oh.
The movie's going to end before you get out to
People
more
have
facts,
made
unfortunately,
various
and that means I
adaptations
leave.
and movies about my life and death.
Are there multiple movies about Anastasia's life and or death?
Yes.
2 for 2, okay?
But no one has made multiple
And I'm
movies.
I'm friend with Gleb. No, I'm against Gleb. I know Gleb.
Anastasia, no Gleb?
No.
It's true. It's true.
No,
That's a
it
fact.
hit the end.
Well,
It
hey,
hit the
it
end.
was
We're
his
done.
life.
It's over
That's
now.
true. That's at the end.
credits
That
are
wasn't
rolling.
canon. That was a
Also,
joke
you
from
host a
me.
podcast just like
The
Anastasia did.
credits
like
are
Anastasia.
rolling. It's time to go.
No, we go through the entire...
No,
Okay.
it's
It's
either
over.
over. There's no credits.
Yes, it's over.
Should we do the 12-hour 4K New York City walking tour?
No.
Oh, I did watch that the other night.
Amazing.
It was very good.
I watched it the next morning.
I did actually think... Oh, did you wake up and it was still on?
Yeah.
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 I
I
did...
thought you both watched it for 12 hours, so you watched it for
he falls asleep.
I fell asleep. And that one's really quiet and really dim, so it just plays
It
all
stays
night.
all night.
Yeah, it's really nice.
But it's nice because then I wake up and there's a light source when I'm up
Yeah.
at 5:30 in the morning.
Every time I'm like taking a long walk in Manhattan, I still think about just like asking if you want me to Zoom because somebody did that in the pandemic.
Yeah, when I couldn't go into the city. That's kind of how I got into these videos. Phil would Zoom me because he lived in Manhattan, would walk around, Mass, of course, and would show me different areas of Manhattan. I really want to do a video of those that's like 7 hours long, and like 4.5 hours in a story starts to unfold.
I know one person who would watch it.
Me?
Well, our friend Taylor.
Oh. Does he watch those? Does that count as ASMR? I think so.
Well, once it's nominated for an Oscar, he'll watch it.
Oh, sure. Right, because he watched that like 7-hour video about factory worker.
Yeah.
Factory worker.
Speaking of our friend Taylor, coming up on the pod.
Yeah, next month. Yeah. So,
our friend Taylor. We're gonna. You've heard a lot about him, and now we can finally confront him about all the prizes he's missed out on.
That's right. Well, we haven't really offered prizes past the first one.
But I'll offer one right now. If Taylor, at any time in next week's episode, mentions this conversation, let's give him a keyword. Actually, this is good anyway. Let's give him 2 keywords. What if he says
Anastasia?
If he's
feels obvious.
Okay.
If Taylor said the word cranberry.
Okay. And my dad will call in to remind us if Taylor says cranberry at any time.
Yes. But I'll say this.
Don't say cranberry in any of the calls.
Don't call in and tell about this. No spoilers.
Right.
But if Taylor says cranberry, then I think we give him that Sixth Sense VHS.
Well, you can.
If Taylor says cranberry, I'll give him a printout of their website of the eBay listing for
okay, that's very generous of you.
And I think to him another word that if he says we should kick him off. Oh no, that's another podcast. Alright, so we can take that idea.
What podcast is
An
that?
off menu if they say a certain ingredient they get kicked off.
Huh. No, it's not.
It's good. I've listened to a few.
What I wanted to say just a minute ago was that video that I was watching, the 12-hour walker. There was a point where I thought you were in it because I saw a guy who looked kind of like you, was wearing similar clothes to you, and had a bag, carried a bag to you. And then I saw their sneakers, and I was like, "That's not."
Statistically, I'm probably
you're in one of those videos, and I do pay attention because I'm like, at some point, I'm going to see one of my friends in these.
Yeah.
But I fall asleep during them. I don't usually see the whole thing.
Yeah.
Although I think that 12-hour one loops because it's a 12-hour video and it's all at nighttime and it's supposed to be live streamed. I don't buy it.
I guess if it's filmed at a certain point of winter, theoretically
12 hours. I mean, I guess so. Yeah, like 5 p.m. to 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
Yeah.
But I don't think it is.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Kerry, for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
You're
I
welcome
hope you
back
had fun.
anytime.
Sasha, I apologize.
Apology accepted.
And yes, you're welcome back anytime. Whenever you want, you could just come on out here and be on the podcast.
I know.
We can record another episode right now.
Do you want to record it back to back? Could do a special intermission episode?
No.
No? Okay.
All right. Then we're done.
Callers, call in and say if you want Kerry to come back. She won't listen to them. It doesn't matter.
518-966-2442. 518.
But don't say her last name in any of these. Or I'll have to edit it out, and we don't edit it. So that episode just won't be released.
So I'll have to scream.
All right.
Be like, Kerry, Good night. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
The episode's over.
The episode's over.